Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan. I am a homeschool mama to 6, and today I'm going to share some more curriculum picks with you. Now in this video, I'm specifically going to be sharing curriculum picks for my daughter who will be in 3rd grade. Now, I already shared what we're using for history because we do that more family style, and I already shared a more in-depth video on what we're using for science as well. So if you want to see more details about the science and history, I will drop links to those videos down below as well. So for history, as I said, I made a full video on this, but for history, we are going to be continuing with Biblioplan. Specifically, we're going to be studying early modern times, and so that's what we're doing, yeah. So my daughter, even though she's going to be doing history with us all together, we also are part of a homeschool co-op that meets 1 day a week, and she's taking a couple of classes with a more historical focus in them at co-op as well, and I think those are going to work really well with our history next year, because one of those classes is specifically about what living in colonial times was like. And so it's going to be more of an interactive kind of look at that, which I think will be really, really great for my daughter since she'll be in 3rd grade. And when kids are a little bit younger like that, it helps to have like that full like perspective of being like more hands-on and experiential. So I'm really excited she's going to do that one. She's also taking an American Girl class where they read some of the historical American Girl books and do some things like that. And so I grabbed a few of those. I'm not sure exactly which one she's going to be doing. I know for sure she is doing this one in that class, but I'm not sure what the other ones are going to be. But I did go ahead and buy the ones that line up with our history for next year. So even if she doesn't use all of those in that class, she probably, knowing her, will want to just read those for independent reads. So I went ahead and grabbed those. So that is history. Next, let's talk about science. For her next year, I am having her do Gentle and Classical Nature. This is volume 1, so it deals with inland waterways and forests, and I am really excited about doing this. So I used to be a lot more into nature study and things like that with my kids, especially early in our homeschooling when all of my kids were pretty little, but I'm finding that as my kids have gotten older, or as I have certain kids that have more complex needs that require a lot more like structured curriculum, then it has been difficult to still be able to incorporate everything. We do a lot of getting out in nature anyway. We are huge nature lovers, and we're always at the mountains since we live in East Tennessee, and always exploring and things like that. However, it's going to be fun to have an actual like nature study curriculum to go through, and so this will serve as her primary science next year. And this is her workbook. I'll give kind of a closer look at that. So this is her notebook. She is doing the one for level 2, which is for her age, 3rd grade. And so she will be doing that next year. It will be her, my 1st grader, and my 4th grader who will be doing Gentle and Classical Nature together. So that is history and science. Now let's move on to reading. Now reading is something I'm really excited about for next year because I'm going to try something a little different. I have 3 kiddos that can kind of line up reading wise, like as far as like reading levels and things like that. Of course, my daughter is kind of a more advanced reader, so she's reading way above her grade level, but that works in my favor for my 4th and my 6th grader because I'm actually going to combine them and do it kind of like reading group style. I'm really excited about this. I have been thinking a lot about it, and the way it's going to work is she will have some traditional kind of like novels that we will read through and complete like literature guides together, not anything intensive. In the past, I've used Progeny Press guides and they are super intensive. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for more like what my friend Rachel over at Where'd You Learn That, the guides that she has. We've used one of those this year with my oldest and loved it. It's just straight into the point, you know, covers a few vocabulary things, some pre-reading stuff, and then you just reflect. And it has been excellent. So probably using either some of those or some from another source. I'm going to wait until I go to Homeschool Convention to figure out which literature guides for sure that I'm going to be using. But there'll be a few of those. But then on top of that, we are actually going to do a unit study on tall tales, and I found this on Teachers Pay Teachers. I will link it down below if you're interested, but it's nice because it goes through, like, they do character sketches of the different characters in different tall tales. They also work on like similes and metaphors and all that kind of stuff, you know. And so I did grab some of these different tall tales books. So I got the John Henry. We also got Thunder Rose. I also got Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan, Pecos Bill, and then Mike Fink. And so that will be the other part of that. The next thing will be, we are also going to do poetry for the grammar stage from Memoria Press. And I have not purchased this yet. I will be picking it up at our homeschool convention in May. But I'm really excited about it because this is something that you don't use it all in one school year. You can use it for several years and just kind of like pick out some different poetry, and then you study some different poems and the different devices that are used in the poetry and things like that. So that's what I'm planning for reading for next year. And as we're talking about reading, let's just go ahead and talk about the rest of language arts, including like grammar and writing. So for next year, it will be her first year. And again, I'm going to use this kind of like reading group style with her and my 4th and 6th grader. And we're going to start Fix-It Grammar together. My oldest has been through 3 levels of Fix-It Grammar, and I like it just for application purposes and stuff. So we're going to be doing this. And then also, she is going to be doing the IEW writing course called All Things Fun and Fascinating. Now, as I was looking at this, I was like, oh, this works perfectly because it actually has a writing prompt on Pecos Bill. And so if we're doing the tall tales for reading, I might try to line it up to do it when we're doing that in All Things Fun and Fascinating, because it does talk about like hyperboles and similes and things like that. So that's going to line up perfectly, I think. I'm going to use that in my favor. But this is the teacher guide and then this student guide. And what this does is it uses, if you're not familiar with IEW, it teaches using a more structured style. So they start by learning to make keyword outlines based on a passage that's already pre-selected. So they read the pre-selected passage, make a keyword outline, and then rewrite the passage in their own words using their outline without looking at the original. So it's really a great way to kind of introduce the structure and style of writing, because it will have them add in things like what they call dress-ups, which are adjectives that use ly and things like that. Like, they really want the writing to be quality and not just she was mean, but replacing the word mean with something more just better quality writing. So I think this is going to be really fun, and it does incorporate a lot of, you know, I get the question a lot, is is IEW enough? Is Fix-It Grammar enough? And stuff like that. So if you combine Fix-It Grammar with a program like All Things Fun and Fascinating, this is going to give you your different literary devices and things like that, and kind of tie in everything that they're learning in here so that it makes a lot more sense. And so it really creates a complete language arts curriculum. So that's what we're going to be using for writing and grammar. So as far as Bible curriculum, that will be a separate video, so that's not going to be included in here. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss when upcoming videos come out, whether it be novel and read aloud picks for next year, more curriculum, or Bible curriculum. So the next subject is math, and if you've been around my channel any length of time, this should not be surprising. She is just going to be continuing on with Math 3 from Christian Light. I absolutely love Christian Light's math. I actually like a lot of their curriculum. She this year is actually using CLE math, and she has been using the reading as well, and also the language arts, and it has just been a great fit for her. It wouldn't necessarily be a great fit for all of my kids, but for her it's really a great fit. And all of them though, all of my kids have used CLE, and it has worked beautifully for every single one of them, and for me as the one teaching them. So for math, she will continue on with CLE, and if you're curious about that, I do have a video on Christian Light Math. Okay, so the next subject is spelling, and we are just going to continue using Spelling Power. So Spelling Power just works great for us. If you are curious more about Spelling Power, I actually did a video on it, so I will drop a link down below for that as well. And that brings me to the end, which is her electives. She dances and has danced since she was pretty small, so we are continuing that. I count that as an elective because we do it multiple days a week. So she will continue with dance. She also is doing piano using Master Books Academy. It's pre-recorded lessons. It's great because you just print out whatever the practice is for the week. It has all of that to print out. And so far it's working well. We did go ahead and start it this year, but it was only $59 for a year. And so I figure that's a pretty good price, especially considering that I'm just trying to gauge interest, like true interest. I figure if she completes the course and there's still a lot of interest there, then we may look at doing private lessons like my oldest does. So piano. And then also I am going to have her start typingclub.com next year. This is something we use, typingclub.com. It's free and it works well. So my oldest has been using it this year, and so I'm gonna have her start using it next year as well. And that will be her curriculum unless I find anything fun and exciting at convention in May. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below, and I would love to answer those for you if I can. Share down below also what you are using in your homeschool for your third grader. Thanks so much, guys, and have a very blessed day.